We are back with Bud. We are learning all we need to know about the outdoors and even more. And the show that you're getting ready to have is going to be just that tool that people who maybe are even the novice will get to know, just tips and tricks that they can get out there and try it for themselves.
Well, that's the problem with a lot of your videos that you see and a lot of your television shows. They kind of key the program that everybody's a professional. They've done it for 20 or 30 years. I always like to take mine in an educational way and take it in steps, just like everybody's a beginner.
Sure.
I mean, even as long as I've been doing this, I learn something new basically every time. I mean, I question my sanity. Of all the things to do, what are you doing out here?
I question my sanity every day.
This morning would have been an ideal morning to have been deer hunting. I mean, people would say my land is cold, you know, but it was frosty, it was crispy outside, it was nice and quiet, and the deer were moving somewhere, but deer season's over. So they're probably moving in my backyard. They're probably walking underneath the tree. They're probably
waving at you. Yeah, tapping. You in there, bud?
They usually do that anyway with a white tail flag, you know, as they go. But yeah, I like to key my program to where basically that anybody can come into it. Now, closer to the deer seasons, when we get to talking about some of like the different things, that the characteristics of the deer, like the scrapes, everybody will see a scrape mark on the ground, and they don't know whether that's a boundary scrape, you know, a territorial scrape, or a breeding scrape. Well, it will get in depth, but hopefully I'm going to be able to show it on camera to where they can compare them and everything, and how you tell what's what. But a lot of it's going to be just the basics, and I want to say also that, you know, if anybody's going to be offended by seeing the American flag wave, if they're going to be offended by, I've got a good friend that's a minister and he likes to fish. I'm planning on taking him out fishing. And if somebody might be offended,
that's the day you pray for a good day.
Well, that's just it. And if the people will be offended by hearing a prayer, or I've got a habit a lot, if I catch a fish, I take my cap off and I look up to heaven and I thank my dad for
very
getting
nice.
these. And if that's going to offend them, they may not want to watch my show.
But for a good time, and still for some giggles. And
oh, yeah. There's going to be a lot of humor. I mean, there's going to be bloopers, and we'll probably have sound effects maybe for certain words, you know, comes out. But this is going to be a fun show, and I've got a lot of plans for it. I've got a couple speakers that I'm talking with, like DNR representatives. I'd like to have a conservation officer come in, and we're going to talk about some game laws and fishing rules and regulations and boating rules and regulations. I'm also trying to contact a fishing biologist that comes in and talk. Now, that can be very informative, and for a lot of the beginners, it may be a little over their head, but we're going to kind of watch what we're talking about. You know, we're not going to make it to where, what did they just say? You know, that type of deal.
But in all fairness, too, that going back to the articles that you've written in the Kokomo Perspective, if there's somebody out there that is watching your program and says, oh, I'm using this type of bait, but yet you're using this, call in and ask. You're on Facebook.
Right.
You know, find Bud on Facebook, and he will gladly answer the questions that most people have, or misconceptions that some people have, or just compare notes.
Right. And as far as that is, you know, they can email me direct. They can contact me, of course, through the Kokomo Perspective newspaper here, or Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I haven't figured out all about twitting yet, but other than getting upset and say I twit, you know, instead of I quit.
Yeah.
But, you know, I want everybody to enjoy the program, but I do want you to know that all the views and everything that's going to be expressed are mine and not that of the staff and management. So if you do have incomplete, folks, contact me
or again, even the comparing notes. You know, why are you doing this when I do this? And it's a learning curve.
I've had people come up and say, I got a stupid question. Well, actually, there's no such thing as a stupid question unless I ask my wife if I want a new boat. Now, that is a stupid question, folks. Trust me.
You already know the answer.
Yeah, but you know, don't be afraid to ask. I mean, I'm going to be telling you things that has worked for me, but that does not necessarily mean it's going to work every situation.
Right.
There's things when you're fishing, water clarity, water conditions, you know, fishing pressure. The weather is one of the biggest things too, and can make a difference on your success.
And one spot can be great one day and then terrible the next.
That's correct. I go up pre-fishing for some of my bass tournaments, and I like to do this because I like to go in with confidence that I've got 2 or 3 different patterns that I think will work. And then come tournament day, something's different. The fish forgot everything that I taught them. You know,
They weren't listening. They don't listen.
They wouldn't.
They won't listen to your show. They don't read your articles.
Yeah, just like a woman.
You didn't sweet talk them the right way.
So I started clipping some of my articles out, laying them on a lily pad, you know, where they can swim up.
Hopefully they'd study.
Yeah, the guy in the red boat, you know, next time he comes up, he's going to throw a June bug worm.
You'd think they'd learn that in the school, right?
You'd think they would.
Was that a good one? Was that up to your quality?
Gong.
Well, Bud, you start taping tomorrow, correct?
That's right. Yeah.
And then your show's coming soon, so we look forward to great things. I appreciate you coming on the show and letting people know.
It's always a lot of fun to do.
And I enjoy reading the articles in our paper as well.
Well, thank you. Thanks.
We're getting tag teamed with Bud.
That's the most fun. I mean, we'll be somewhere and somebody will say, we enjoyed your articles. Well, I'm not really sure what one it is because I'll send in maybe 10 articles, then they select and put it up. And I get to act stupid, which is pretty easy for me to do. And I don't know what article, but I say, well, I'm glad you did. You know, I really enjoy it. But the best one was the guy that told me he and Andy both enjoyed my paper, my articles. And I said, well, you know, I hope you and your buddy continue to read it. Well, I found out that Andy was the guy's parrot. So this guy would read the article, then he would line the bottom of the cage with my
double use. Hey, and technically, bird, isn't that outdoors?
That is outdoors, but you know, some people say they're going to do it. Some people do it. So,
well, thank you for coming in. I truly do appreciate it. We do look forward to great things from Bud in the future.
Thank you so much.